on my phone skis. Go ahead and
So
get
our,
it.
yeah, so our final topic for our Pennsylvania Avenue segment of this podcast is going to be about Donald Trump. Been in the news a lot more, even more than normal recently, because of the recent plea deals and convictions of both Paul Manafort and Donald Trump's former lawyer. And I totally forgot to bring up like what the charges were.
Yeah,
in
you
fact,
had-
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna be
there was-
unable to find it.
There was a conversation in one of the chat things that we're in, and there was a poll saying after all of these charges and decisions that were made, are you still going to be a Trump? Are you still going to be able to support Trump? There's another one to say, are you still going to vote for Trump? And we're just basically going to go through real quick, give you some context of what happened and what the actual charges were and how they relate real quick. And then we're going to just talk about how we feel about it.
Well, I know off the top of my head that all the Paul Manafort charges have nothing to do with, like, they're all from much earlier than his involvement with Donald Trump or the Trump campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have a hard time finding. There's like so many things that get posted in that group all the time that's like way at the bottom. Like I'm not certain I'm gonna be able to find it. Hopefully, posted a comment. Oh, this could be it right here. Okay, I found it. All right. So and then Michael Cohen, who is the if I can get out of this, was the personal lawyer for Donald Trump, was convicted on 8 different criminal counts, federally criminal counts. 5 of them, 5 counts of tax evasion, which is unrelated to Trump. They were like personal things from a little bit before that time, I believe starting in 2011, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, some of that stuff was like basically way before the election happened.
Right. 1 count of falsifying submissions, and that has to do with that goes along with the tax evasion. So like he was submitting he was falsifying his income for like one of those years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that falsifying submissions comes from. And then the last 2 are where it gets a little bit interesting. So the last 2 counts, I wasn't able to find what the actual charge was called anywhere. What it said in the press release was that it was 2 counts of, quote, involving unlawful campaign contributions. So there wasn't actually like any sort of formal title for that. So it's possible that this could be related to President Trump. Michael Cohen alleges that he was reimbursed for paying off 2 women, one of whom was Stormy Daniels. I don't remember the other girl's name.
The other one was another model, maybe I believe Playboy model, but she didn't go to the media, or she didn't go to the lengths of what Stormy Daniels had done.
Yeah.
Basically.
So Cohen alleges that like he paid these people off, and then he was reimbursed for those payoffs knowingly by Donald Trump and the Donald Trump campaign. So I guess where it comes down to is that I know that Donald Trump had an interview on Fox News earlier in the week, and he said that the money did not come from the campaign funds. Obviously, Donald Trump is in a lot of hot water because he's on record as saying that like he had no knowledge of the Stormy Daniels
he said,
thing.
Like he didn't know at the time, but then he knew. Like recently, in one of his interviews that he had, like this past week or something.
Yeah,
like
he
that.
said that he didn't know at the time, but he's like knew since then.
Yeah.
That was the interview on Fox News, the same interview. And he also, I feel like both Donald Trump and more frequently anyway, Rudy Giuliani, who's like now taken up the helm as like Trump's lawyer, that they can't seem to get out of their own way sometimes. They just like Trump brings like unnecessary attention onto the situation because he said in that same Fox interview that he was basically like praising Paul Manafort for not like turning on him, and like that like it should be illegal for prosecutors to flip. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It should be illegal for prosecutors to like flip people to like get the next person up. And it's like, why would you even ever say anything like that?
Yeah, that
like,
was.
it just makes him seem guilty.
well, it makes him seem guilty, but it kind of makes him like it's kind of not ironic, or is it the word? Because he's talked about saying like you shouldn't flip, but then like people, or he's kind of flipped on stuff too.
Well, I mean, what he means specifically though is like them getting a plea bargain, like they're going to plead guilty, and then they're also going to give incriminating evidence on Donald Trump.
Yeah, I know. What I'm saying is like, there's an example that I listened to, and I was like, oh, that makes like he's kind of an idiot for saying that, because he does that himself, or he was already supporting that in the sense. But yeah, okay, whatever. But regardless, what was interesting my point is gone. It's like literally just like, no, my thing was I was gonna say, out of this with Manafort was, Jesus Christ, why am I not thinking right now? Oh,
My criticism with like
no,
Manafort.
okay, no,
You got it.
it was the dealing with the campaign, because if he's able to show in the past that he's been paying girls off before,
Oh yeah.
that this won't be a charge, or they can say like, well, we've
won't
been
be
doing
a
this.
campaign.
Yeah, it can't really be a
finance.
campaign expenditure if he's been doing this, then shows it like before campaign stuff, like, hey, I've had this issue with women in the past. This is what I do. Like being more straight up forward about it would probably be better.
His
thing
other
about
defense would be that
that was my thought.
what
Sorry.
what Michael Cohen did was like that. His other defense should be anyway that he didn't know. He just told Michael Cohen to handle the situation and basically claim ignorance and say that like he didn't know what the campaign finance laws. He didn't know, and like Michael Cohen like went out and broke the campaign finance laws and did so without Donald Trump's knowledge. That would be another probably pretty easy defense.
Yeah.
I really don't think that this is going to be anything that leads to, unless there's more evidence on the evidence that we have now. I don't think at all this is going to like lead to an impeachment or anything like that.
Some of this doesn't seem like it's on paper from what I've been hearing. It doesn't seem that it would be unless they find something more like incriminating that's just like deeper.
And like I've always said, especially like with this now and with all the Russia collusion stuff that's been going on for 2 years now almost. Like if there was any shred of evidence that like truly got him, like caught Trump doing something, they're 100% like CNN, NBC, CBS, the New York Times, like all these people would have already had it leaked to them.
Yeah.
And it would be all over the media.
Especially like the
like if there was evidence that Trump knew that they were going to commit campaign finance law and paid off Stormy Daniels and the other girl anyway, like 100% that transmission or email or phone call would like 100% already be leaked to the media.
So I agree with that.
So
I don't know. It's a weird situation, because like it's a lot, not a he should she should or he said she said. It's more, okay, we see what's in front of us, but can any of the actions that the people on the left want, can that, like impeachment, can this actually happen through these, what's happened with all these charges and accusations? Like can any of this hold up to impeachment? And right now, if you're looking at it, a lot of people on the left are like, no, he should be like, they're going to go straight to the point, or straight to the emotional reaction. I'm not looking at it on like a legal standpoint, and a lot of it right now isn't, which I don't know how, like, I mean, when you look at like Clinton and how he got impeached, it just like, but he was like under oath and whatnot.
Yeah, but Clinton was like proved to have committed a federal crime. Like he committed perjury.
Yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like, it's interesting how like this is gonna work. It's weird, because when you hear just people just going off just emotional reactions, but they have some stuff to say behind it a little bit, but then like they don't really have much to say after that.
Yeah.
Like once they get past the first sentence, then like they don't really have anything to say.
So let's circle back to what this was originally going to be.
Okay.
Like with all the things that have come out over the last week regarding like Trump and people that he associated himself with. Like this, and then the whole thing with like John Brennan and Omarosa.
Yeah.
Take like the last 2 weeks Like, does this change whether or not you support Donald Trump?
Well, I'm not technically a Donald Trump supporter, but I will, like I said, I will defend him in situations where there's no reason to like make it bigger than what it is, or to know like say things that we already know and try to like circle around back to it on accusations or something like that. Just like, okay, dude, we already knew this. Or good policy, like I'm going to defend his good policies. Like I said, I think Ben Shapiro had a good point on like grading what he's done. Everything has been like a decent grade. There's one, I think I forgot which one it was. That was a bad one.
It was like basically like media relations and like
Yeah,
rhetoric.
yeah, that was an F or D. That's
Yeah.
like same thing, same boat for me. Like I said, I mean, I didn't vote for him, but I'm still gonna support him because he's president and I want him to do well. But as of right now, it depends. Like I said, for me, it depends on who he's running against in 2020, or if he's running at all. But like I said, that would be then. But right now, I'm supportive in his policies and how good he's doing. I'm hoping the economy stays up. I've heard a lot of stuff about the economy going into a recession either by as soon as the end of the year. But that's like all speculation. But I hope that wouldn't impact him into 2020, unfortunately. But as the moment right now,
presidents always get both too much credit and too much blame normally for the behavior of the economy anyway.
yeah,
As far as like I voted for Donald Trump in the 2016 election. I still believe after and I voted like knowing that it was gonna be the circus. I don't even think that I thought it was gonna be as big a circus
yeah, I didn't think it was going to be either. I didn't think
as it's turned out to be.
It's not that I didn't think he was going to win. It's just like everyone in the media at the time that I followed are like, yeah, all the polls are saying that
Right,
Hillary just
yeah,
had this
yeah.
big lead. I'm like, historically, someone that has that kind of big lead in the polls at that time should win, and that's what it was going to look like. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Gary Johnson. So I mean, like that was like me. But now what it looks like obviously we see it now, it's differently.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm going to support him in his policies that he's doing well in. I'm going to support him for defending people in the middle of the country. I'm not going to support him for, I don't think he really defended the KKK and white supremacists really, in my eyes. I don't really want to explain it because it's like hard for me to like explain it because it's stupid. But I'm gonna defend him on stuff that he does good, but I'm also gonna ridicule him or kind of criticize him on stuff that like, dude, just shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So
Stop tweeting.
I wish that Donald Trump should pass a federal law that Donald Trump is not allowed to speak. Like he almost needs an interpreter, like just for regular like commenting on anything. Like I understand that he wanted his Twitter his reasoning for wanting to have an active Twitter account as president was that he didn't trust the media to get his message out there the way that he wants, but like he can't get his message out there the way that he wants.
Yeah.
Like he falls over himself by like saying stupid things that don't make sense, and like he could explain things so much better. He could pick and choose his battles so much better to like.
And then he doesn't need to like circle around to stuff that he was doing in the campaign as well.
Yeah, kind of that too. At times he seems really petty. Obviously, like everyone knew this going into like the campaign that he has the biggest ego around. He is very I guess impulsive might be the right word.
He pulls the trigger a lot on just stuff that I don't think he thinks about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I think the perception of him and his administration would be so much better if he just like stopped talking.
Yeah, I think this also affect. I mean, like when I talked to my mom, she voted for him as well, but like I think she comes at it from like my kind of way of looking at it too, because she's definitely talked to. We have a lot of family in the middle of the country, and like a lot of the rhetoric that was talked about the people in the middle of the country and just like kind of not being important and kind of no one really cares about them, that kind of like got to her. That kind of like was one of the things. She didn't really like Hillary a lot. There's like obviously there's that speculation of how Donald Trump spun it to make Hillary look like obviously the crooked Hillary. So with that said, it's like you're kind of changing perception and changing minds, but it's also like so a lot of it has a lot of backing and a lot of ground to it as well.
Yeah, I don't really think that like the whole crooked Hillary thing is what swung the election. I truly believe that.
Well, no, I'm saying like part of it. I think it was a bunch of factors, but I think like that. I'm saying for like a person like my mom, like
No, I understand.
That's still in the boat. Is what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah. It was still like definitely. I think the Democrats underestimated how, like the word that you used was like forgotten, and like no one cares. I think the Democrats underestimated the number of people that were out there that felt like that, and but I also believe that had the Democrats ran literally anyone else as their nominee, like Bernie Sanders would be president right now.
I don't know about that.
Because I don't think that I think had Bernie Sanders won the primary, Bernie Sanders would be president. But I think Bernie Sanders could have only beaten Donald Trump. Like if it came down between Bernie Sanders and anyone else that was in the Republican primaries, that Republican would have won because that Republican could have destroyed him in a debate. Donald Trump would have just been like normal Donald Trump.
I think Donald Trump would have beat. I think the only way the Democrats would have won is if Donald Trump didn't win the primary. For me,
yeah. Well, I mean, so
I think there was so much blood in the water for. I think Donald Trump would have. I think the way. Sorry, excuse me. That he went into the 2016 election was like in a different view. I think there's too many people behind him in the middle of the country. I think also to add to that point about people, and I think a lot of Democrats didn't even show up to the polls because like they thought like, oh, Hillary's gonna win. What's the point of me?
Yeah,
voting?
that might be true.
But
I also feel
I think.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
With Bernie, I think he would have had someone that would have broken down all of his social policies or socialist policies, and I think he would have if he does run for 2020, he's going to do the same thing that he would have done to him in 2016, and now he has even more ammo. So for me, like I don't think he would have not came close, but I don't think it would have been this. I think it would have been the same result or similar result. I think it would have been a little bit more of a fight because I think Bernie would have campaigned in those certain areas, but Bernie wouldn't have been the candidate in the first place because of what happened at the DNC. So.
Well, right, I know, but like so the whole like Democrats not turning out because they thought Hillary was going to win. I would 100% believe that many Republicans did not turn out because they thought Hillary was going to win.
Yeah.
But I think that Hillary would have beaten any other Republican, probably, and Bernie Sanders would have beat Donald Trump, but not any other Republican. That's where I'm at.
I don't know.
In any case,
I think
Donald Trump definitely tapped into something.
Yeah, I guess. I think he would have done the same thing with Hillary and would have manipulated like some stupid thing out of that with Bernie Sanders. He would have talked instead of being like crooked, he would have been like can't work Bernie Sanders. He would have probably went to his past about with his like the thing he got kicked out of when he was younger. When he was like in his like 30s or something like that. Yeah. He couldn't like he was like so
commune,
lazy
basically.
Yeah, he couldn't like contribute at his commune. Like he could have done stuff like that. There's like so much in that he could have used in his background. That's what he did with the Clintons. He like I think for one of the debates or something like that, he brought like in the first row behind him or in some debate he had all the ladies that had accused Bill Clinton of sexual assault. So I'm like he would have done stuff like that. That would have just been.
But I think Bernie Sanders doesn't have the hate for him that Hillary Clinton does on the right. I don't.
I think Hillary Clinton hates everyone equally, but
no. I'm saying the Hillary Clinton's perception, like the average person in the United States views Hillary Clinton in a much worse light than they do Bernie Sanders, and that's why I think Bernie Sanders would have beat.
I guess.
And he would have gotten even more votes.
He definitely would have got the voters in our age bracket.
That's what I'm saying. So like Bernie beats Trump, Hillary
but like
beats
I said,
any other Republican.
It can't be you can't even think about it because Bernie wouldn't have been presidential candidate anyways.
Yeah.
So
I know it's all hypothetical.
I know.
But yeah, I've personally been Mostly, I would say like 90% of the time, pleased with the policy decisions.
I think
and
everything but the
choices
tariffs
that have
for
been
me.
made.
It's basically
Everything but what?
the tariffs.
Oh,
Like the biggest thing is
yeah. I've
tariffs.
heard. Obviously, the tariffs haven't been really a good thing
Like-
yet, but I also have heard that China has since come back to the table because like it's hurting us, but it's hurting China more, and China can't outlast us.
Yeah, because what I've seen too is the Q2 results. A lot of people were buying stuff before the tariffs happened, and that's why Q2 was so good, and that's why you're not going to see that in Q3 unless whatever the tariffs is gonna
You mean on our end or China's end?
both.
Okay.
Because Peter Schiff was going through how, oh yeah, that Q2 was the best. Like it's been like one of the best years we've ever like best in GDP. Because like Donald Trump was talking about the GDP.
We had
being
for
high.
the 20 for like the fiscal year 2017, we had a 4% growth, which was
Yeah.
like unheard of.
But I'm talking about specifically for Q2. I think just came out maybe. I
Okay.
think yeah, and he was talking about that and how everyone was stocking up basically before the tariff, so they wouldn't get hit by the extra costs. So that's why Q2 was so good. So like when you're gonna see the replacements or the loss in the increase from Q2 to Q3. So like stuff like that is gonna be interesting to look at too. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's a cluster of weird stuff. But I think the stuff he's gotten us out of has been good. Like I said, the tariffs are the only things that I really have a big gripe with. But yeah, everyone likes the tax cuts. But again, he created more debt with the tax cuts.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. My problem with the tax cuts is like you have to then cut government to make up the financial difference, and that hasn't happened yet.
What he didn't do.
In fact, it's been expanded because there's like now more military spending, since at least the Obama administration, there's more military spending now, like per year.
Yeah, I think it went from 16 to 19%.
Oh, I'm not sure what the numbers are.
Yeah, because I think from what from the updated version, I think it's going to be at 19% of the GDP.
Okay. So anyway, that's our thoughts on all the Donald Trump stuff recently. Let us know in the comments if if your decision has changed or your opinion of Donald Trump has changed at all over the last couple weeks and like the things that you've learned, or maybe you've never liked him at all. Let us know why.